ES Cinder remix of Dark Souls 3 by Rotaka. Folks, you know what that song means.
Oh,
I sure do.
Even though we skipped like maybe 20 seconds of it somewhere in there.
It's fine. It's
Don't
fine.
worry
Yeah.
about it. You didn't hear nothing.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post.
I might fix it in post if I remember.
Just imagine it was fixed.
Even odds on whether I remember to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I guess it's insert credits round 66, commanding lead.
And I'm just going to call it 66.6.
That's fair.
Yeah,
it's honestly
it's-
fair.
Yeah.
Even though we're not 0.6 to the next one yet. But
Well, we will be halfway through the show plus some, but we will be 0.6 of the way through the show.
In order
I
to know
guess
that,
that's
though,
true.
you would need to know the full length of the show before
which
it is
we
concluded.
do not know ever. I mean, we'd shoot for 2 hours, but then it turns into like 2.5,
yeah,
and then whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
It's been a hell of a month.
It has been a hell of a
yeah.
month. It's been a hell of a week too. Like this
Ah.
week has been fucked up. Am I not supposed to swear in the first minute? I can never remember the
I don't
swearing
care.
rules.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Do we have swearing rules?
No, hell no.
I was just going to say, the only thing that I'm really concerned about is Extra Life because it's for the kids.
Yes, of course. We always kind of censor ourselves for all of our marathon events, I guess.
Yeah,
I suppose, yeah, because S3, we had it after like 10 p.m. That was
Mhm.
kind
to,
of okay.
to be more
but-
all ages friendly, which is a good thing for charity events in general, I think.
Yeah. True,
But for shit like this, I don't fucking give a fuck. In case that wasn't exceedingly clear. Well, welcome everybody. I'm MrBond.
I'm Tormod.
And I'm Saxxon.
Insert credits. Oh my god. This week, man. This week
Yeah.
has not been super good.
Nah.
But I'm glad it's Friday. Everybody's glad it's Friday.
Yep.
Everybody, and it's be cool to everybody, please.
I'm
Yes.
super psyched that it is Friday.
It's a damn good Friday. It's a damn good Friday to be a Friday. Housekeeping. I forgot to bring up the calendar. So that's about how my fucking
All
Friday
right,
has
well,
been going.
I've got the calendar
Oh,
open.
do you? All right,
Yeah.
cool. You got it covered. Way to
Yeah,
go.
I
Go
do.
for it.
So-
What's our next show looking like?
And it's looking like round 67 rather of insert credits is going to be on the 19th of April,
19.
which is the
Yep,
weekend
right you
after
are.
Midwest Gaming Classic and 2 weekends after the Extra Life Marathon.
Correct, because that is coming up in 2 weeks for us.
Which makes sense because that's the halfway point between shows. So
Yeah, it sure kind of is.
Because
isn't
it's
it?
definitely
Yeah.
in 2 weeks from now.
Absolutely. 4 divided by 2 is 2.
There you go.
Okay.
And then
we
moving
are
on to
our
April,
mustard.
we're going to be on Friday the 17th with round 68.
Yeah.
And
okay.
we-
Checks out.
Actually, don't even have one scheduled for June yet.
We
so,
don't. I think 21 was the leaning because of certain on-call statuses on the 14th.
Yes, and SGDQ being the week after that. So the 21st or the 7th, it's actually up to you.
Let's go 21st.
Okay, I'm
Let's
a
go
fan of that.
21st. Do I normally say 2 hours or 2? I think I say 2
Oh,
hours
actually,
and then we go 2.5.
wait,
it's fine.
do I want to do that? Let's see here. When
Is
will-
that round 69?
It's a very
Nice.
nice.
All right. Fantastic.
That's actually going to be
Yeah.
the...
Okay.
Oh, actually, I might want to... Hey.
Uh-oh. What?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Okay.
So if we make it on the 21st,
Mhm.
there's a chance that I'm going to have guests over at that point.
Right, because that is right before SGDQ.
Right.
Okay.
So we could either have a room full of people, or we could do it on the 7th.
7th it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Not that I have anything against people.
Right.
I kind of do, but let's
Well-
put it on the 7th.
They're good
Oh my
people.
gosh.
It's fine.
I mean, people in general.
Yeah.
Not specific people
Yeah,
necessarily.
not
Fair, fair.
persons.
Just
people.
People are terrible people. Certain persons are not terrible
Yeah,
people.
persons are awesome, but
But
people.
but people are definitely terrible people.
yeah, you're right.
Okay, so June 7th, I think that's fine. I think going like 3
Yeah,
out is
let's
probably good
just
enough.
Keep it. We're
Yeah, that's real good. So that leads us right into Around the World. So you remember that official OG Doom episode that John Romero was developing?
good. Yes.
That's been delayed a little bit.
Oh.
Damn.
Unfortunately. It's been pushed back to April, so it's not too far off yet.
What the hell?
Ah! That's real good. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
What the hell, John Romero?
Yeah.
But anyways, it's called Sigil. Is it Sigil or Sigil?
Sigil.
Okay,
I've
good.
always said sigil.
I've been saying Sigil for like
Yeah,
3
it's-
months because of La
yeah.
Milana, so I
was
hope
just gonna
it's
say
Sigil.
it's definitely a soft G.
Okay,
At
very
least for
good.
that word, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to make it fancy or something.
I don't know, maybe. But it's been pushed back to April, so cool. It's going to be free. It's going to be free. Hey, man, come on. All right.
World
That's
record
why I
is
asked.
free.
Oh my
That's why I asked. But it's been pushed back to April, so we'll be waiting for that. It's okay. It's free, and it's cool, and it's OG Doom stuff, and it's John Romero,
Yeah.
so we'll wait. It's fine. Take your
Yeah.
time, John. Don't worry about it. Can I call you John? I'm going to call you John.
Yeah.
THQ Nordic held an Ask Me Anything on 8chan.
Oh, this.
If by
Oh.
some miracle of miracles, you don't know what 8chan is. Please do not go look it up.
Yep.
Please, that's a
That's
sincere ask. Do not look it up. You will regret it if you do.
Yeah.
It predictably went south.
Yeah.
They predictably said, "Oh, we didn't realize that 8chan was real bad."
Was that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And
Do your
Gosh, I
fucking
don't-
research.
there was a lot of righteous and correct blowback from that. And then it took them a day to say, "Oh yeah, we're actually sorry," which I'm not inclined to believe, anyways. But hey, whatever. Oh boy.
I guess. I mean, maybe they went with like any publicity is good publicity,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of looking over at your shirt, and I think they cheaped out.
Get out.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, like, there's a lot to unpack with that whole situation. I'm content with just letting it go
Mhm.
and saying "fuck you, THQ Nordic." So, fuck you, THQ Nordic.
Yeah.
There's a rumored no disk drive Xbox One S coming out. Earlier this month, it was like kind of shady rumors. Now there's been more recent rumors that it's actually a thing with a rumored name of Xbox One S All Digital Edition, and with a rumored release date of 07th of May.
Xbox One Sade.
Yeah. Expo
Yeah.
Sade.
Exposade. Exponzade. The aid of your expo.
And just Microsoft comes busting through the brick wall. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, they have got to get some better names for this shit because it's getting ridiculous. But I guess that's cool. Rumors are it comes packed with a 1 terabyte hard drive or solid. Probably just a spinning Rust drive, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They're probably cheaped out on it. But like $300, I think, was the rumored price. Cool,
I mean,
I guess.
Yeah.
Like this was it's supposedly going to be their original intent for it because they wanted the Xbone to be like no disk drive to begin with.
Yeah.
And people didn't like that, so they put a disk drive in, and then
I mean, I kind of like that idea, partially because like the thing that tends to fail most often in any kind of device is anything that's a moving part,
Mhm.
and like a CD-ROM is just full of them. It's there's optic equipment, there's the motor, there's so many things that can go wrong.
There's the disc spinning around.
Yeah.
There's a lot of motion going on there. So I guess this is the next step for it. Cool. I don't know. I don't have any investment in the Xbone line, so whatever happens to it happens.
Yeah, I mean that also opens it up for like, well, then you're entirely at the whim of DRM, which the other half of it is, well, if I buy a disc, I have the game forever. You know?
Correct.
So it's
it's. But I've been a
hopefully they're not shady about it.
PC gamer for a long time, so I'm already kind of at DRM City with Steam and all that. So
Yeah.
I'm less inclined to care about it.
Don't let the desensitization, against like DRM encourage you to be lax on that.
No,
though.
of course not. No, like it's still always in the back of my mind being like,
Yeah.
I could download all these and pack them away on DVDs and shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm just too lazy.
Yeah.
That's all
still
gonna be
gonna
a
point
lot
out
of
the
DVDs.
I'm still gonna point out the bullshit with
Yeah,
DRM.
please do. I hope
Absolutely.
we all continue to do that because
Yeah.
DRM is truly bullshit,
Yeah.
and they should stop doing it.
What he said.
Please stop. You're just hurting paying customers, really.
Yeah.
And you're not stopping pirates, so fuck you for doing it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck.
Damn it.
Just wanted to say one more fuck in there.
Did
No,
you hit your quota?
I don't know if I have a quota.
Yeah.
The fuck? What?
FQ. No Man's Sky. We've talked a lot. Well, I've mentioned No Man's Sky a lot because I've always wanted to get around to playing it. But their next major release is slated for summer 2019, a free expansion. Many more steps taken towards the full online multiplayer that people assumed they were promising from the outset, which they didn't really promise. If you forget
Yeah,
it.
it's this game's been around for some time already.
Yeah, it's getting old-ish in internet years,
Yeah.
but they're still updating it. They're still bringing more features and stuff like that, and people are slowly warming up to it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any problems with it from the beginning. I haven't played it yet, of course, but
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played it either, but it kind of sounds like they're trying to bring it back to their original vision for the game, which honestly is kind of awesome. So.
And the rest of the stuff I got is for indie devs.
Ooh.
And I love me some indie devs.
Oh,
So
heck yeah.
first out the gate here on March 8th, Assault Android Cactus Plus was released on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm sure you should tell us more.
Oh, I am going to tell you more. I am very much going to tell you more. So the full game we already had on PC was Assault Android Cactus. Plus, a new campaign mode entitled Campaign Plus, which includes a whole set of remixed levels and harder bosses and all of that. Plus, a full set of new costumes for all the androids. Plus, a remixed level select theme.
Ooh.
Wow,
Plus, more accessibility options.
But wait, there's more!
Yeah. I think that's about it.
That is a whole lot of plus.
That is a lot of plus. Many pluses involved. So
that is outstanding.
So kudos to Witchbeam for doing this. And it's also something I can finally talk about, because you know that thing I've always been mentioning, like, I don't want to talk about it, but I can't really.
Yeah.
I helped him test it a little bit in the beta phase, so
okay.
I am really pleased with how it turned out. I hope that they are pleased with how it turned out.
Yeah.
I hope it's a better commercial success than the original was. I really do, because I love those guys so much. They're very good devs. They're very kind and good to their community. They involve the community a lot for testing. Myself and a dozen other people in the community helped them test the beta. It's fantastic.
They really did make a diamond. I mean, I don't play a whole lot of twin stick myself, but Android Cactus is amazing.
It's my favorite game now. It has taken the title from OG Unreal Tournament, so congrats.
Ooh, that's a really high bar.
It is a really fucking high bar, but they did it. They fucking did it.
You could say that you're nonplussed by it. That means astonished.
Does it?
Yes. I just looked it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, that's fair. Then yes, I am nonplussed by the plus version.
Yeah.
Assault Android Cactus Plus. Please go buy it.
Yes.
I'm not being paid to say that, by the way. I just enjoy the game a lot. But please go buy it, and please go follow Witchbeam and go tell them how good it is.
I went back and watched the GDQ Assault Android Cactus, and it totally sounded like we were getting paid to say all of that about
sure it did,
because it was on sale at the time.
It was, but they were super cool with us while we were doing it for GDQ and stuff. They were extremely supportive. Like most indie devs are. If their game goes to a GDQ, everybody's like really pumped about it. But I mean, we got special shirts for it, and we did a whole bunch of other stuff. It's a lot of fun.
I have immense envy because those shirts are awesome.
They are pretty good. Oh, speaking of, there's a new cactus shirt out there. Actually, I should bring that up too.
Link me.
Like 2 weeks ago or something. The titular character is now the new shirt. So it's stunningly green. It's a fucking fantastic green shirt of cactus.
Linky.
Oh, I will.
Yeah,
I will pass that along 100%. Other indie release on Switch announcements just at GDC this past week. Vlambeer's Nuclear Throne. And a little thing called Necrodancer is coming to Switch too, but with a special crossover with The Legend of Zelda. I know, right? Not only that, but officially sanctioned first party Legend of Zelda and Crypt of the Necrodancer crossover.
Yeah,
That's incredible. It's incredible.
I hope it goes better than Say One of Gamelon.
I hope so too.
Zelda's Adventure.
I hope so too.
That's probably a contributing factor to this not being a thing for a couple decades.
Right?
Did I mention I bought a CDI?
Took a little bit to for that bitterness to wear off, I think.
No, this from what's being said about it, I'm super pumped.
Oh goodness, it looks great.
Yeah,
it looks great, and knowing I mean I love Crypt of the Necrodancer, it's fantastic, but this looks really good. Cadence of Hyrule is what it's gonna be called.
Oh, okay, that's clever. I dig
that's
it.
Pretty good. Now, I'm kind of two minds about this because you know it's gonna be Switch exclusive.
Yeah.
And I hate exclusives. I really do hate exclusives, except for like true first party stuff.
I don't know.
That's understandable.
I could see them also putting it out on the 3DS.
Okay, like platform exclusive is really shitty to me. But so I'm like really at a crossroads here. Like, do I buy it? But I really hate it on principle. But it's an awesome game. And shit. I don't know. Jury's still out on that one. But it exists. Yeah. It will be a thing. There's also a couple more Vlambeer stuff coming to Switch as well. There's been a whole slew of other indie titles either announced or already out on Switch, which is super cool to see. They've been doing good with the indie support for Switch.
Yeah.
So kudos, Nintendo. Kudos, Nintendo. All right. I'm out.
Shall we?
Next.
All right. So apparently, after we were hyping up the Epic Games Store because they take less than 30% cut, apparently the new Vogue thing to do is to shit on the Epic Games Store.
My, how times change.
So it's funny because they apparently won't accept crap games onto their platform now. Crap games.
And what is their definition of crap game?
I'd love to know.
So would everybody else, apparently.
Yeah, they're not in the business of peddling porn, etc.
Oh, dang it. There goes all of my like visual romance novels.
Yeah, that sure.
Rip.
Dang it.
But there's plenty of Steam news, including a UI update, which is expected to have a public beta drop this summer. Not early summer, just summer. They didn't want to get people like hyped up for like end of May or something like that because they're like close enough, right?
It really could just be the last week of summer.
Yeah.
Blizzard's doing the same thing.
There are some screenshots out there. I have linked to that. They'll be in the show notes eventually. It looks neat, I guess.
It looks different, I guess, right?
It's different than the same Steam you've been accustomed to for several years. A big one, speaking of games people grew up with, the Master Chief Collection of Halo games is coming to PC exclusively via Steam. Interestingly, Gabe Newell credits Phil Spencer of Microsoft with making that happen.
How interesting.
It's so weird because like there was like a lot of noise from the console gaming community over this. They're like, no, exclusivity is what makes this awesome in ours. And I'm like, just like, cram it. It's like, you know, like it doesn't, just because it gets released on Steam doesn't mean it like gets unreleased on, you know, Xbox. Like that's not how this
Suddenly
works.
all of your discs disintegrate.
Yeah, they no longer work. Which is funny because Halo 1 was a PC release too.
It sure
and
was.
Halo 2.
And Halo 2 was, although I remember
those
that
were
one
delayed by
not being
months.
Great.
Yeah. Like I bought Halo 1 on PC. I thought it was fucking great. And I'm actually kind of excited that the rest of them are coming to PC, so I can
is awesome.
buy them and get rid of my Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Because I never use it.
Yeah.
The one game that I wanted to play on Xbox 360 was Tales of Vesperia, and now it's been remastered for at least PC, I'm pretty sure.
Steam's
recently.
got it.
So
There you go.
Yeah.
See,
like
exclusivity is shit. Don't do it.
yeah.
Don't do it.
I need to go buy that game and play it because Rapide, that's the dog's name. Yes. I always confuse that with Tenebrae, which is definitely not the same character.
Correct. Yeah, I know
that's
which one
from
that one is.
Tales of Symphonia, right?
Didn't one of the Halo PC releases have a flamethrower? I think you're right. I think multiplayer Halo 1 had the flamethrower. That was, I believe that was exclusive to the PC release.
Oh.
Which is very strange to me, but hey, I could be wrong also. Don't take that as truth.
But related to the, you know, the Epic Store thing that you were talking about, well, it is vogue to, you know, crap on the Epic Store about that. There was an official statement from Steve Allison saying, we, you know, on exclusives, we will definitely not be doing it on the scale we're doing it on now for an extended period of time.
Sure.
Which is such a it's
What a fucking weird answer.
So they're all like, yeah, we're totally milking this exclusive thing for as much as we can get, but we're not going to put a timeline on when we're going to stop.
And giving people free games every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But supposedly, and I might as well talk about it now, even though it's not in my show notes, they're enticing people to create accounts so that they can do data mining based on their activity inside of the Epic Games Store. Obviously, how do I say this? Telemetry based on the games that you play, the types of things you click on.
They want to see how you are shopping and exploring the store so that they can be more effective at selling you games you don't want.
And also
I mean, everybody
scraping
does
data
that.
from Steam.
Yeah, that's shady.
Yeah.
I am
Right?
shocked, I tell you.
In the user profile, there's a flat file that is encrypted, apparently not very well, of games you own, your friends list, things like that. And they got caught scraping that data. And apparently their really half-assed answer or retort or defense, whatever you want to call it, is, oh, whoopsie, that was there from when we first put Fortnite out and we wanted to do matchmaking. Also, Tim Sweeney directed them to do it. Oops.
Half-assed is really being generous there.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's like
quarter-ass at
maybe
best.
a fifth-ass?
A fifth-ass is
Yeah.
probably, it's about right. I'd be okay with a fifth of an ass.
20% ass.
20%.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But speaking of things that have toppled Fortnite, Apex Legends.
Brutal.
So,
Womp womp.
apparently cheaters have been an issue with that game, much like most games. You have your aimbots and whatnot. But apparently now they've come up with a mechanism in which people can be banned by their hardware ID.
Womp womp.
So even if you make a new ID, within about a minute or two, boop, you're banned.
Got banned. Oh crap! I'm gonna have to switch out my video card.
Supposedly,
now.
if you've logged into other account or other PCs with different hardware IDs, they'll be like, "Oh, well that username was banned. Why not ban all of these other hardware IDs
all
too?"
Of them together. Oh,
contagious
shit.
banning. Yeah, so like that's
Oh man,
It's like Pokerus, but not good.
yeah.
And
So-
speaking of Pokemon,
good
bigger-
segues.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, I was
May
just
I?
gonna say like a bigger consequence for being a shitlord. Continue.
Good.
Oh yeah, a
yes.
Schlord is
A
what we've been calling it.
Schlord. Schlord.
So, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield in the New Galar region, which is totally not Great Britain, was announced via Nintendo Pokemon Direct on the 27th of February, and it should be released by the end of this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does Nintendo manage to keep this stuff under wraps?
Well,
I
I mean,
know.
it's been rumored for a long time, but no assets actually leaked.
Yeah.
That I was aware of, at least. But there's quite a bit of interesting stuff out there, and the game actually looks like it's a proper 3D title. It's not chimped, crappy 3DS junk. Sorry, at this point, it's low-res garbage.
Well,
Compared to the Switch, where it's a minimum of 720p.
It's retro aesthetic.
Yeah, aesthetic.
PS1 aesthetic. Hooray.
All right, Cloud. How many...
Very
Never mind.
pointy.
Perspective.
Say, how many voxels can I count off of you, anyway?
3.
Perspective
Congrats.
corrections. What's that?
Exactly. So, it looks interesting. It's pretty large. The preview that they aired was actually really cool. Basically, they're just like, all right, here's Pokemon Direct and gameplay video.
Yeah.
And they just
Okay.
said Galar region and queens and dogs and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's totally not an army of corgis. But yeah, no, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield will arrive by the end of the year. And people are saying that it might even show up before holiday season. So that would be kind of neat.
Yeah.
Waiting for that third entry, Pokemon Gun.
Hey, everybody's riffed on it.
I know.
Among other
It
things.
makes me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
But it's interesting
Hilarious.
that they have the coat of arms, little canine head thing on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had a canine head gun. I was just like,
Yeah.
well then, all right.
The internet
And
delivers.
Sword
I
and
was gonna say,
Shield.
shooting teeth or something.
It
I don't
will
know.
indeed be Schlord.
Shalord.
Great. I
Oh,
got
boy.
nothing. How about the rest of your news?
All right, cool.
We
So
have fun here.
yeah, mine's gonna lean towards the PC gaming side. So as I say every single show, as you all know, I'm still a WoW fan. And yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. Thank
Wow.
you, Owen
Yeah.
Wilson.
and so it's there's been a flurry of activity in the last month over WoW Classic, which is effectively the only WoW I care about right now. There's a new community rep named Kyvax who just sort of showed up immediately after Blizzard went and fired a whole bunch of community staff and whatnot, and he's been posting super regular updates multiple times a week, and it's kind of blowing us all away, and it's throwing all of the YouTube streamers for a loop because they can't make videos commentating fast enough for all these updates. So they covered progression. They decided that they were going to take the 4 tiers of content that they had and instead do 6, kind of making the gear progression a little bit more spread out, a little closer to the original game. they announced the where they stand on like the loot trading thing, which so in later versions of the game they made it so that like if you looted an item, you could trade it to other players who were with you in the group when you picked that item up for a couple hours. And so the community kind of felt that like that was ripe for abuse when, you know, you could go into, say, a group with 2 or 3 of your other friends and then have them also like roll on the loot saying, oh yeah, I need that, and then just pass it off to the one person that they were trying to help gear up. So their stance was basically like, okay, well, we'll just turn it off for all of the lower dungeons and make it for large raids only, where, you know, it's more common of a thing to accidentally distribute loot, you know. So it was kind of their like middle road, like, well, it'll help cut down on like, you know, GM tickets, while you know, all the while still allowing players a kind of just level of control. So yeah, so there's been a lot of activity on the WoW Classic forum, and they also announced that we are in for a Classic Summer, so which is kind of their clever way of saying that we can expect the release of this in the summer, which is really wild because there isn't even a beta out for it right now. So there really isn't anyone
incredible
outside of Blizzard right now who's able to give them some input on these things. So we're gonna see how well that goes.
Can I give you some WoW news?
Wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wow.
I have no idea if these numbers are accurate, but I read it yesterday and I thought it was hilarious. Here's a quote from a tweet. Owen Wilson has made $217,838,000 from his movies. He averages about 3,500 words per movie in 47 movies.
How many of those are WoW?
That's about $1,324 per word. Wow was 102 of those words. Owen Wilson has made roughly $135,072 from saying wow. Good night, Twitter. I felt that was required knowledge.
People have too much time on their hands to be figuring this shit out. But
you're not wrong.
But wow. Wow. Wish I got paid that much for saying wow.
Oh my gosh. Cool. So that's going to wrap up the WoW stuff. I guess they released a new tier of content, but I don't really care about it right now. So I feel like I should have covered it to kind of, you know, be fair about it. But honestly, like, I'm super excited about WoW Classic. All of my friends are super excited about WoW Classic. Like, none of them are really just eating the retail content up. So that's it's really exciting. Summer's going to be fun. So that's it for the WoW stuff. 3D Realms kind of surprised everybody with their announcement. A Quake 1 engine-based game called Wrath, Aeon of Ruin. That's being built by like Quake 1 modders from back in the day.
Wow.
Wow.
Unironically, wow.
So it's yeah, so they released a trailer. It looks outstanding. It's probably the first 3D Realms product I've been hyped for in a really long time.
Now, is this one where they're gonna put the ray tracing, the full ray trace lighting into?
You know, I have no idea.
Those demos?
But like the weird part is,
shit.
like,
Right?
they actually they made a tweet claiming that it does indeed run on a Voodoo 2. So
whoa, okay.
So yeah, they're straight up like just they're appealing to the retro shooter crowd, and you know, honestly, I feel like that's a very neglected crowd. Like arena shooters, just there really hasn't been anything that's kind of carried that same sort of like atmosphere and gameplay as like the classic Unreal Tournament, and like Quake 3 and
not for a
whatnot.
long time.
Yeah, we haven't had those. So Wrath, Aeon of Ruin is basically a retro shooter made for retro shooter fans by former retro shooter modders. So this is going to be awesome. So definitely check it out. It's Wrath, Aeon of Ruin. Yeah, so
I would like to interject real quickly as we had a joke about ray tracing. So, it turns out that NVIDIA's April driver update is going to enable ray tracing on Pascal GPUs. They're saying it's going to be baby version of ray tracing, not the full daddy version in the RTX cards.
Right.
But it'll have something.
And yeah, it's the preliminary numbers on that are not looking
They don't
so
look
good.
great.
No,
No.
It's
Which is to be expected. I mean, they don't have the dedicated ray tracing cores in there, so yeah it's gonna be shitty.
Yeah. And then, of course, you get the conspiracy theorists where it's like, oh, this is NVIDIA just trying to be like, hey, we're proving our point that RTX actually does something, cough, cough, we totally didn't give them these drivers.
So I think that Microsoft is building in some like ray tracing API into DirectX.
Yep. DirectX 12 has software ray tracing,
Yep.
and apparently it works pretty well.
So I
from
have
what
a
I've been
feeling
reading.
that like once we get to that point, we're gonna start to see that show up in other cards. Like I feel like AMD is gonna be a bit of a late adopter on that.
Actually, they're not.
They're not.
I think they already have it, don't they?
They already are using it, and the numbers are pretty good.
Really?
Yep.
That's a shocker. I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, so basically, AMD's throwing all of their effort toward DX12 because Microsoft is making an open standard of sorts with ray tracing capabilities inside of games, and AMD's like, hey, we've got excellent compute strength, especially with the Radeon 7.
That's how they're doing it. Okay.
So, yeah, apparently AMD's like, we didn't get fucked this time.
Well, it's weird because it's a complete departure from like their attitude just last year.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like basically when NVIDIA released the the RTX series, and AMD was asked to comment on it. They're like, well, we don't really see like huge importance in this feature at this time. 6 months later, two games support it. So...
okay, so you have to think that they've been at least in talks with Microsoft for at least that long.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, this is coming. You should probably make some drivers that don't suck.
Good luck.
Etc.
Yeah.
Well, at least the latest revisions since all of the reviewers got their cards have been substantially better. Not saying much for AMD's overall driver strength.
Yeah,
however,
very low bar to clear.
You're not
Yeah,
wrong.
that's they don't have to go far to improve their reputation.
That's true. However, you have to think, like, in order to drop something that large, DX12, obviously the Radeon 7 supported it right away out of the box. I'm sure, like, the Vega 64 and 56s did, etc., that kind of thing. So you have to think that these manufacturers probably at least knew about it.
Yeah.
So AMD is probably all like, well, we're releasing this, like, hybrid gaming and workstation card. Hopefully that'll be enough to carry us until Vega is released.
Yeah. Or is it Navi?
Navi, sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. So that's supposedly happening this summer.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, they're going to drop that. They're going to drop Ryzen 3000
hell
series.
Yeah. So it's the Zen 2
Interesting.
architecture with the Ryzen 3000 series processors. Once those are out, Threadripper's 3000 series will release. So
yeah, this whole year is just going to rock for PC hardware.
Oh, yeah. The higher clock speeds of DDR4. We've got PCIe 4.
Yep.
Yeah. You could do a hell of a lot more on fewer channels. So, I don't know. Some of the weird shit that I'm hearing is basically it's double the bandwidth of PCI Express 3.0. So if you had an X16 card before, you could do the same in an X8 with 8 lanes now instead of 16 and so on and so forth. Obviously, backwards compatibility, if you still have things that are slotted for X16, you're going to need an X16 slot.
Right.
But,
Yep.
good stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, there's going to be at least 2 or 3 new chipsets that contain it, all from AMD.
So yeah,
we'll see.
well, I imagine in a few shows we're going to have a lot to talk about.
More than likely.
Yeah, that's good.
I
like that.
Probably going to get my dirty hands on 3000 series Ryzen processor at some point.
And I'm going to get hand-me-downs. This is how I get upgrades. And I don't mind it one bit.
I was going to say, I don't know. I might have to retire that quad-core, no hyper-threading, really terrible, 5th or 6th gen Xeon that we've got. I don't even think it's 6th gen. It's
Yeah,
real
I'm not
bad.
receiving that.
Well, no. I'm saying the server that we have right now runs DDR3.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
So I still got one of those.
Gosh, we built that back when we were at the apartment.
Yeah, if we try to run more than one VM on it, oof.
Yeah,
If
it's
we
not
try to
great.
launch OBS, oof.
I wouldn't use it for OBS.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I
it's-
hooked up webcams to look at the wetness on the floor
okay. Fair.
in our basement, and even trying to load the preview window, oof.
Yeah,
It's
like,
real bad.
That's so
It's not
weird
great.
for what it is. So
It's whatever.
yeah.
So at some point, I'll probably get to swap something else in there so I can be like, okay, something with a whole shitload of threads that I can just make a hypervisor.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Eventually. We'll see.
Yeah.
I need something that can do IPMI because Supermicro doesn't make any server motherboards that use anything other than AMD's EPYC processors, sadly, because that's the server class.
Yeah.
Boo.
So
And Epic, you'll be paying out the ass to.
oh,
to
absolutely.
use.
Yeah.
So, yeah, trying to find a hardware IPMI solution that basically is like a network KVM. It's like $600 minimum.
Maybe send an email over to them and see if maybe this is in the works. They might have a press something or other.
Probably not, because all of their stuff is like, we make server products, go away.
Well, that's fair.
So, yeah.
Okay, I'm going away as we speak.
Yeah, pretty much.
So like, fine, I'll take my money elsewhere.
So, I mean, I could just build this and hope for the best,
Mhm.
or have IPMI.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. Anyway, I'm done
so
rambling.
Speaking of hardware, well, I don't know if this is going to be a hardware thing.
Sort of.
Google Stadia.
Well,
Stadia.
I think Stadia. I would think
Stadia?
Stadia, but hey, that's all right.
Yeah, because I'm thinking Stadia because like their whole advertisement was like, you know,
Right.
big,
Oh,
big
it's a
ass
stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, let's call it a stadium. What a dumb name.
So that was announced. Anybody heard of OnLive?
I was at PAX when that was
A
revealed.
long time ago. Yes.
Yeah, so it's basically that.
Flaming
Like,
trash. Got it.
It's so
yeah.
and my problem with that is going to be the same problem that I had with OnLive when it was announced, and that is effectively boiled down to the state of broadband access in the United States.
Mhm.
It might work better in other parts of the world. It's it's going to be a problem in the U.S.
So it's interesting, and I could be wrong, but based on what I heard, it doesn't pre-render frames. It sends game data over, and the hardware inside of the console, whatever this thing is, actually renders it out and spits it out. Supposedly.
Really?
You're still
but
going to have to download the assets, though.
I've also heard that it's got something like 10 milliseconds of input lag.
Well, that's an order of magnitude lower than what I heard.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what to believe.
So from what I read about their demo, wherever this was,
Sure.
it worked pretty well, but that was ideal network conditions within like a building.
Yeah.
Over wired connections with no interference, no whatever.
Uh-huh.
And yet the input lag was still somewhere in the order of 60 to 140 milliseconds.
Absolutely noticeable.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's much larger than what I heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can imagine how much worse it's going to be in the real world, not in the same
Yeah.
building over shitty Wi-Fi.
Because I don't want theoretical numbers. I want like someone
Yeah.
ran some practical benches on this.
We want some actual real world shit
Yeah.
to prove that it's somehow better than it was 8 years ago. Which
Yeah.
it probably
Uh-huh.
won't be, but hey, whatever.
No.
We got burned by OnLive. Gosh, there was another service that I don't even remember now.
There's been several services.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they all
many
tried
have
the same
tried, and they've
thing.
all failed.
Yeah.
and they all fail for the same reasons.
Now, it's interesting, though, because one of them hasn't failed, and it's been real interesting, and that's PlayStation TV. That's
True.
still going
it?
fairly well.
PlayStation Now or what the
Maybe
hell are
that's
they
what I'm
calling
thinking
it?
of.
Yeah,
I think
that's
so
what it
you can
is.
buy
that.
certain Sony TVs and actually Bluetooth sync a PS3 controller with it, and you can play games as if you had the console. And supposedly, the latency is
interesting.
low enough where people can play most games on it without noticing.
You did play the PS4 version of Final Fantasy 15 over a hotel Wi-Fi with that.
Well, no, that's
Or was
the
that the remote
the
play?
remote play thing.
Okay.
Okay.
But it uses kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a television app that's built into Sony TVs that is basically a pretty front end for that. And be like, hey, pay us a set amount of money and we'll boot this game up for you. You can play it.
We still very, we were very keen to the amount of latency that was introduced, even with remote play. So,
I mean, I was just amused. I was playing it over a tethered internet connection back home over a VPN.
Like, internet that we get on our phones now is actually kind of awesome in some areas.
We were in a not great area. That was like bumfuck middle of nowhere in northern Illinois. So that was a thing.
It's also way cheaper to run cellular wireless out to the bumfuck of middle of Illinois.
Yeah, if they have the right backhaul for it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So some of the key things that they're touting about this Stadia bullshit, they're not just trying to like meet the standards of yesteryear and OnLive.
Oh,
no,
of course
they're
not.
claiming 4K P60.
I doubt that.
Which is severely suspect already.
You can't even get that kind of bandwidth like over 20 feet of cable, let alone...
Yeah, right?
Well...
So, based on what you said before about it rendering on the end-user device or whatever, I can't imagine that's the case. It's got to be sending a frame buffer of something.
Yeah.
Like, we'd have no reliable sources for any of this besides what they say, which is already bullshit. So
it kind of feels like marketing invented those numbers, and we're going to hear from technology later.
And I remember earlier this week you made a comment on how weird the controller looked.
Yeah.
So apparently, according to more things that I've read, it feels real good in the hand.
Really?
That's what I've read. I have not actually tried it myself. And I'm not sure.
It looks like nobody with any experience with any modern controller made any sort of attempt to design it, but okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
We will see.
I guess we will.
At Best Buy, not in home.
And speaking of that controller, one of the quote-unquote mitigations that they're talking about to avoid such horrendous input lag is that it connects directly to the cloud over Wi-Fi. The controller, by the way, not the device that it's playing on. I don't get how they think that's going to mitigate input lag at all, but
it's
all right.
Potentially one less hop of processing, I guess.
I suppose,
but
Wi-Fi anything and input lag reduction does not make any goddamn sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
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 Like, how... No, this is not how physics works.
Yeah.
So, because I'm going to start jumping up and down on this careening enterprise bullshit train.
Uh-oh.
Cloud. Yeah.
Cloud. Sorry.
Developers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You put the controller in the cloud.
I don't, like, that just makes no gosh dang sense to me, but whatever.
That's amazing.
Whatever. Like, put the controller in the cloud, right?
Yeah.
Huck it real high, it'll get to a cloud.
Right?
So if you play a randomizer, would that be cloud seeding?
Maybe.
The higher you whip it, the lower your latency.
What about whippets? What?
We do not condone whippets.
Yeah.
So anyways, is that it for the Stadia?
I got a couple other things.
Okay,
this is more
go for
towards
it.
the indie side of things.
So
Planet X3 is a game from 8-Bit Guy who so this is the third game. Obviously, there's 3 X3.
So X1 and X2 and
Yep.
now X3. Okay,
so
fair.
I think X1 was developed for what was it developed for? I think it was like the VIC-20 or something.
wow. All right.
Pretty
X2
old.
was developed for the Commodore 64.
All right.
And
Slightly
X3
newer.
was developed for the IBM PC. And Tandy, and like so you understand the era of computers that he was shooting.
All right. Okay.
So it's got I got the 360K 5 1/4 floppy version. So the Kickstarter packages are mailed out, but the game is not available online yet.
Until you image the disc.
Well, I mean, of course I imaged the disc because I don't trust my drive to not shred
destroy it.
I have a good floppy drive, but I don't know how good it is because it's used. So the it's So the version I got came with CGA 4-color graphics. I did not get the EGA or VGA because that takes a bigger disc, I think. But yeah, apparently the Kickstarter for that like blew up to like many times what he was asking for, and so his place is just full of boxes he's got to mail out. But yeah, so they shipped, they arrived. I got to play it a bit. It's really fantastic. So I'm really hoping that that it sees an online release really soon, because I would like to see what the VGA version looks like.
Yeah.
The disc the disc that I got has such low capacity that I don't imagine that it was able to just fit on there. So
fair.
Yep. And then yeah, so that's it for Planet X3. Just mentioning that the Kickstarter rewards came out, and I got my hands on one. The last item that I have is there's a and this is ZZT related news.
Classic.
So I've been working on my own ZZT emulator for a number of years already. And it's it's kind of coming to a close now. But a surprise new specific emulator written for this showed up just this week, called Zeta. It's by a user named Azikirka. And it's not quite DOSBox. They stuffed an 8086 emulator into this thing, and then they stuffed ZZT the game into this, and so it just runs like the bare minimum hardware emulated hardware in order to run ZZT, and it runs in JavaScript. But it's also built for Windows, Mac, and Linux because it was written in C11. So, well, C++11.
Okay.
So apparently you can build it for JavaScript. You can build it for Windows, Mac, and Linux.
Was that Clang stuff or CLang or whatever?
I don't think it's that.
No.
I mean, you can use that to build it on Mac, but
I don't know.
So many.
Yeah. I don't know how it builds in JavaScript, but
interesting.
But yeah,
I know there's a cross compiler for C and C++ into JavaScript, which is fucky, but whatever.
Yeah,
So there's a place online for anyone who's it's still interested in ZZT. For those not in the know, it's
gonna say the 5 people I know,
right?
Which is a lot of people.
It's a game creation system that was actually Epic Games' very first game release back in 1990, like very first ever. And you can create your own game worlds and stuff in it. The site called Museum of ZZT is now hosting this emulator online in JavaScript.
Makes
So
sense.
not only do they house probably the largest collection of ZZT worlds, but now you can play them online in your browser, which is really fantastic. And you don't have to worry about emulation or inaccuracies or anything like that, because it is a very specifically tuned in emulator for this game.
All right.
Yeah.
Just imagining multiplayer for this. It's built in JavaScript. Oh man.
Yeah, so it's kind of
Hilarious.
amazing.
That's really cool though. That's actually pretty cool.
Ugh. My mind went in a terrible direction. Just like, oh, let's build out the Marathon backend in ZZT JavaScript.
No.
Let's never.
No.
Our game worlds are going to be the config files. And
So there's one last thing about the ZZT that's related to that. There's a game world called Preposterous Machines, and it's a bunch of really bizarre things that people have been somehow able to write into a ZZT, like just the scripting system.
Like
with
writing a
basic logic?
Turing complete machine or something?
Maybe not that far, but
No?
they implemented Tetris in it.
Of course they did.
They
oh, yeah,
there's
it's
a sign
programming 101.
renderer. There's something that calculates a knight's tour around a chessboard. This is all the
boy.
same game world. Gosh, what else was there? There's one that there's this puzzle with the 3 rings and like the pegs and
the Towers
stuff.
of Hanoi.
That one. There's a solver for that. It's all in the ZZT scripting engine. So
yep, general computing.
Yeah,
is a funny thing.
So my guess is, since they've gotten that far, the ZZT scripting system probably is Turing complete. So.
I would guess so. Just based on those examples.
Yeah,
pretty popular things.
Just fun extra fact to mention. That's all I've got for gaming news, though.
All right, so then it's time for some Toonskis. Bonus level 1 here.
All right. Whew. Blazing Minds by Nyx the Shield from Donkey Kong Country.
And a remix from Fez entitled Windrose by Outset Initiative, Andro Stefan, and Shipless.
And then I got a remix from Chrono Cross titled Cosmic Kleptomaniac by Weisty and the OC Jazz Collective. Wait, did that make it out on
It did. It did.
Oh my gosh.
It did. It's hilarious. It's fine.
All
It
right.
fits with our aesthetic.
Aesthetic indeed.
Aesthetic.
Uh,
Well, considering the event we've got coming up in a couple weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if the lists this time around are kind of slim for what we played. But I guess it depends on who you ask. So
I've been practicing.
good. Why don't
And
you go
I've
first?
been playing games
Yeah.
Oh,
for once.
wow.
Go ahead.
What? Oh, should I start?
Yeah, kick
Well,
off.
you
Okay.
kind of did that.
Well,
yeah.
I've mentioned WoW, obviously.
Wow.
Still playing DDR as well. Did some Final Fantasy 9 since last time. Ended up getting a whole bunch of ultimate weapons because Chocobo Hot and Cold is like one of the most significant side quests you can do in that game. Do not skip it if you're looking to like have a badass party. Absolutely don't skip it. Planet X3, as I mentioned earlier in the show, and ZZT. So that gets all the stuff that I talked about out of the way, minus FF9. But I've also been playing Biomenace, which, for those unfamiliar, is it's a platformer that was released by Apogee, much in the same style as like the side-scrolling, Duke Nukem 2, yeah, it's I really only was super familiar with the shareware release of that episode 1, so I kind of memorized all those maps and basically have a good route for that. Episodes 2 and 3, however, ooh, yeah, gonna need some practice.
Kind of rough, huh?
Yeah, but I am playing it on the actual retro box. Managed to bag a CRT monitor, which is kind of nice. And I also have a GamePort joystick that I'm going to be playing this on, because it's weird. So like it's kind of like the boomerang shape that you saw, those weird N64 controller boomerangs from like Mad Catz or whatever. Well, they made one for the PC as well. Believe it or not. And it's got all the buttons and stuff, but like 3 of them are mapped to the same button because button limitations. But it of all of the gamepads that I own, it has the best D-pad.
Huh.
It's so strange. But it has the best D-pad, so that's why I'm going to use it. Yeah, so Biomenace. I feel like I have a really good route for episode 1, but yeah, I think that I should probably be streaming these this practice just to kind of, I don't know, just to kind of get practice of also kind of commentating my own run, because like I have a feeling that this is a game that that people are going to be unfamiliar with.
Like, I've played my share of the first episode as well.
Oh, well,
but that's where my knowledge ends, because, wee babby me didn't have money to go out and buy games like that.
Yep,
so you got real familiar with the first third of a lot of games.
Yep. Oh my gosh, shareware CDs are the greatest.
They were the treasure troves that you looked for.
Yeah, those are awesome. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Biomenace, and getting better at that. Fighting with the problem where sometimes I'll start the game up and it won't. It's so weird. It will not detect my Sound Blaster. However, it'll go into the game and play Sound Blaster music, but it'll attempt to play out the sounds through the PC speaker.
Oh boy!
Because it didn't detect the Sound Blaster.
Oh, that must be an interesting cacophony of things.
Yes. So I'll have to exit out of the game and start it back up. And I think it's because the PC I'm playing on is so outrageously fast that it is going too fast for the sound auto detection routines to work properly. So I need to figure out how to get that to be consistent.
What a problem to have.
Yeah.
Thread.sleep 3000.
Yeah. I don't think that they had that in 1993.
Probably not.
So yeah, there's that. And I've also been playing Duke Nukem 2 for no reason other than I want to start exploring the other episodes of that game too, because once again, it's a game I only ever had the first episode for, and so really got to know that. There's a lot more game there, so And then on top of that, one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm so glad to be back playing it, Diablo 1.
I was just waiting
Classic.
for wow.
Yep. It's so I my retro party cart consists of 2 machines that are networked now. They can actually run IPX network games and whatnot. I have a Raspberry Pi velcroed to the side of it that acts as a Samba file share to both of these machines.
Oh man.
So I'm running Diablo over Ethernet to a Raspberry Pi, and that's how I'm getting these files. So I was able to run Diablo on both machines and have them network up to the same game and fun stuff. You can apparently, like, since they share game files, they also share saved games. So I was able to log into the same network game with the same character twice. But the problem is, when you leave a network game, it saves your character's state locally. So, I wanted to see if I could transfer, like, basically dupe money this way. So I would drop some gold and pick it up with the other, like, version of the character.
Keep saving
and
back
then I had
and
them
forth.
log off. And that was great. And then I had them log on. It's all like, oh, the gold's still here. Cool. I have them log off. I have my first character log off. And then I log back in. It's all like, shit, where did my gold go? Oh, it's because that one was the last one to get saved.
I see.
So I was out a bunch of money because of that.
Take that, cheater.
So yeah, that can apparently happen. I also tried Diablo 2. That game is smart enough to not let you do that, though. So I had to actually use separate characters for that. But yeah, gosh, going back and playing Diablo 1, I've had so much fun. And that's something that I would just casually stream, like just hop down into a dungeon, and just start, killing some enemies and Diablo and whatnot. So. And that's pretty much been the majority of it. I think in the weeks to come, I'll be ramping up a lot more into Biomenace, and then also getting acquainted with Doom, which I guess that's another one that I forgot to mention, but I also verified that IPX networking works with. So that's fantastic. Yeah, really.
And just to be clear, this isn't a source port of Doom. This is
the Doom.
Classic OG actual Doom.
Doom v1.9.
Yep.
Over IPX.
I'd have been happier with 666.
Yeah. I mean,
that was a thing.
That version did exist.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
that
given it's around 66.6.
My Doom 2 CD is that version. That is the version that was the original retail release for Doom 2.
Nice.
So, I think. But yeah, it's so that's super exciting. Even though the hardware that's being used is obviously not retro. Like, I'm using a gigabit Ethernet card for these games, which is total overkill
to reduce latency.
Yeah, of course. Not just because
and it works.
I could just, Intel is still releasing DOS drivers, in the year 2019.
And we're using a switch and not a hub. And
true
yeah,
enough.
It's
not
had
token
to
ring
use...
configuration or anything like
no.
that.
Oh boy, more BNC.
Yeah, I didn't have to worry about that. Thankfully, I didn't want to deal with BNC a second time.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
No.
But at least it doesn't pass electricity.
Yeah, that's true.
Connect it once and be done. Don't ever move it.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's the majority of my gaming.
I was gonna say, because you left out Pathfinder.
Oh yeah, a whole lot of Pathfinder.
A bard.
I sure did.
Of sorts. What's the archetype for bard that you have?
Sound Striker.
Yeah.
Which basically use a bunch of sonic damage abilities and stuff like that.
So basically,
okay,
an electric guitar is a weapon.
See, that's what I originally thought, but then I went and trained my character to be like awesome at singing in a way that damages enemies, and I'm like,
okay.
Well, I don't know if they're like a
Shrieking,
very talented bard, or a very,
Very terrible
untalented
I
bard.
mean, a death metal bard, I would guess
well,
would be close.
You know
right?
what? I love that. I'm gonna play him like that now.
Nathan Explosion. Give me my +2 to hit and damage, you jerk.
They're an obnoxiously tall half orc compared to the rest of the party, who's all short. So
Yeah, I am a dwarf. I am a dwarf paladin archetype of holy tactician,
yeah,
and
you also rolled fire. Like
Yeah, my HP is 70, and the bard's is 30.
36.
36. Sorry. Yeah, I
Okay.
rolled real high on those hit
I guess
die.
you're the tank.
Yeah.
Yes, and my weapon is a French farming implement called a guisarme. I learned that today. That's what it is.
You
Like
just
Guissarme, Guisarme?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think. I don't
Sure,
know.
whatever.
It sounds right. It sounds French.
Yes.
Guisarme.
Yeah.
Guisarme.
I have one of those, and it does damage. As much damage as I've dealt, though, I've never actually killed an enemy yet, which is real sad. But we had a really good time with Lauren and Kyle.
Oh yeah.
They were at the wedding, if you remember. I think they visited once, maybe.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
recall. Mhm.
So yeah, we went up to their place. They have a fucking rock star duplex that they're renting. It's
Yep.
super cool for gaming and stuff. They have this massive setup in their basement. They 3D print a bunch of D&D stuff.
Yeah, they
It's
print their
really
own
cool.
figurines, and then like they printed out our characters like the week that we were gonna be up there, and so we were able to like move them around the board and stuff.
Oh,
So,
dedication.
Gosh, I kind of regret not learning more about 3D printers earlier on when I was introduced.
Don't say that too loudly, or Spectre will hear you.
Oh, well, I'm sure that he would have spoken up because I also mentioned ZZT and Doom.
Okay.
So
I ordered stuff for the stream, and I deliberately said delivered on Monday because we're gonna be out. Well, your shit's arriving on Sunday. Thanks. Let's hope that the high schoolers in the neighborhood don't steal it.
yeah, just send
Anyway.
him an email. Be like, can't you don't?
Yeah, pretty much. As I went off on a tangent, but
Yeah.
yes, Pathfinder. It was really good. We are middle of the way between levels 6 and 7 right now. We just totally cleared out this base where, goodness, what was supposed to be there? It was behind a waterfall, but a genie.
Yeah.
We went up there and we got to the chamber where the
Boy.
genie was as the last wish was being used. And then
Huh?
killed these weird goblinoid things that were covered in crystals and all this other bullshit. But now we're like, hey, this place is pretty sweet. Let's clean it up and keep it.
Yep.
So that's what's happening now. Is we're
Okay.
cleaning up and keeping it because it's freaking massive. And it had a bone throne that we set on fire.
So a flaming bone throne. Okay.
But there was also like it was either 20 or 25,000 gold there, and we had
that
just
happy
enough room in our medium bag of holding to throw all the gold in. it was sure a thing.
Wow.
So it worked out.
Amazing.
Also, Alphaford / Mike visited 2 weekends ago, I want to say it was. We played some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, as we do.
Yep.
I am really waiting and ready for a new Mario Kart now. These 48 tracks are a little old,
Yeah. I mean,
even by my standards at this point. Like, as much as we hammered away at 32 races in Mario Kart Wii,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little past the point of this being a challenge now.
I don't think that it's the tracks so much as like when you play something that much for that long, it almost becomes like autonomous.
Oh, absolutely. I don't have to think too much about playing
Yeah.
it anymore. It
Yeah.
just kind of happens.
get-
No
I
matter how
bored
many
after
tracks are going to be
I
there.
get bored after
Well,
about
I mean,
20.
like, if you get new content, it's not autonomous, at least for a little bit.
Well, they
etc.
should switch characters then.
I do occasionally.
Yeah.
I also haven't tried mirror mode yet, and I kind of
Oh,
should.
there you go.
That would probably do it.
That doubles the content in the game. There you go.
Yeah,
right.
Nice.
So next time we do...
I think that would just frustrate me more than
It kind of
entertain me.
Yeah, well, we got used to it on Wii. It wasn't that bad.
It took a
but-
couple goes at it. It was
It's the
fine.
same speed as 150, so at least it doesn't go as fast as 200.
Fair.
But anyhow, so I've spent a lot of time and effort in the last 2 months, basically rearranging the entirety of my stream office. And that's all well and good. And I wanted to test out TGM. Okay. I let the game kind of play itself out a couple times just to make sure that sound was working and the controller was good because I had cleaned it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played one game and I PB'd.
You weren't recording it.
Nope. I took pictures of the
PBs.
screen.
Never.
So I got very close to an S5, also very close to 600. So
Yeah.
I was in 20G for almost 100 levels.
Yeah, you were like,
Oof.
Tony, come in here. And so, like, I came in the room and I'm like, what's up? He's like, shh, I'm playing. It's like, I'm about to go into 20G.
And then I did.
Yeah.
And then I stayed there for like a solid minute.
Yeah. You're like, oh
And-
my god, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, the whole time you were doing this.
It worked out.
Yeah.
I almost hit level 600. It almost got S5, which would have been that sweet, what is it, like dark blue with the gold text and the gold surroundings of it for S5, I think it is.
Sure.
So, no,
Uh.
that would have been a first for me, but yeah, I just need to go without playing since before the new year because the last time I played was at EI's. So,
Really?
oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
When I went up there with Adam and then we went to, or MrBond, I should say, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, who's
Uh,
this Adam fella?
Yeah, I don't know. Some jerk. I don't
yeah,
know.
I know. It sounds like an asshole.
But that Adam jerk and I went to IKEA later that weekend and started populating things for the living room.
Yeah, okay.
It's been that long.
Was that way back when?
That was
time.
3 months ago,
Yeah, you're
just
right.
about. So, yeah. Okay. Maybe I should take more extended breaks so I can get free PBs.
Free.
Well,
Right.
it was my first game back. But also played a little bit of Octopath. Honestly, most of that was here, but I did play a little more. I ended up testing a room mic setup with the old layout, and it was not good. But ended up playing some of my file when I visited Lauren and Kyle last weekend and convinced Lauren to get the game, also known as pay for our dinner. We're going to Best Buy and I'm buying you a copy of Octopath.
Yeah. You're like, this is how
Cool little
things are going to
exchange.
go. And she's
Yeah.
all like,
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Here's how this is gonna work.
Yeah. So now she's playing the game.
She got
And-
really into it.
Oh,
Like,
boy.
holy cow, it really drew her in. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Yep. So I need to remember to pack my USB Elgato so I can hook up to the laptop so that we can have a different display than the TV that's down. Oh, I take that back. Kyle just messaged me today. He picked up a Switch dock for their living room.
Ooh.
So maybe we can play it upstairs. Because he was getting a little miffed that we kept the TV occupied downstairs when he wanted to play Dead Cells.
Dead
Because
Cells.
it's actually on Switch now,
It
too.
sure
Yeah.
is. Yeah,
And
forgot about that.
he
one.
was getting real far into the game.
That's a good
Yeah.
game.
But he was so like, I want to play. And Lauren's like,
I want the TV. Yeah.
so it's like, I can take my Elgato and we'll play on the laptop or something.
Yeah.
Because there's no input lag with HDMI. So,
Oh no, none.
Well, not really.
It depends. It depends a lot on what you're plugging into.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, I noticed no difference between playing on a TV and playing on this thing where it's just showing it on the screen. So, shrug. I don't remember playing anything else last weekend. We watched Blazing Saddles.
For the first time?
For my first. Well, no. I mean, I watched it a long time ago when I was a kid.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But the first time in formative memory, I should say. But yeah, I was just kind of like, damn, people are racist.
Yes, they sure are.
Yeah. But no, they were like, oh God, we need to watch this. And it was like, okay.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that we were going to do, like, History of the World because
Oh, I
I
plan
get a
on that
bigger,
at some
bigger
point.
kick out of
It's
that
pretty
one
fun.
than Blazing Saddles, as good as it is.
I like History of the World. That one's funny.
Yeah.
But hey, movies were a different time back then.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sure were. Well, they were lambasting it. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At first, I was uncomfortable, and it was like, "Wait, this is satire."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you
Satire.
realize, like, who is this at the expense of?
Ah.
There we go.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of my
Oh,
short
boy.
list, but I did play stuff at least.
That's good. That's progress. That's what we call
Yes.
progress in the biz.
Meanwhile, your extremely long
Oh
list.
my god, that's never ends.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so I finished up playing Distance. I was playing that for a couple weeks. It's a weird driving, platforming, car acrobatics type thing.
I don't recall actually watching you stream those.
No, it's interesting. It's a bit of a trip. It's a bit of a trip since you deal with a lot of upside down and weird gravity garbo. And me being the scrub I am, I get excited getting silver medals or whatever when it goes up to like diamond or something. Like,
Nice.
whatever. Hey, I'm happy with this. Fuck you, I'm happy with this.
Pretty much.
And now, of course, I'm playing Lana 2.
Yes, you are.
Oh, what are you doing to yourself?
It's not
Abuse?
as bad as I would have expected,
Really?
to be honest with you.
Oh, all right.
There were some questionable design decisions in Lana 1 that they fixed.
Oh, right on.
There are new questionable design decisions in Lana 2
Yeah.
that you just kind of deal with, as one does. I have not been super stymied yet. I haven't devolved into looking at a wiki walkthrough of it just
Ooh.
yet to make progress. So
Have you created your own map in Google
I
Docs?
started creating one right from
Okay.
the start because
Nice.
I think that's where I really went wrong with Lana 1. It's like, I can remember most of this stuff without writing it down. And it's just like, got like 8 hours in or something, like, fuck. Okay, I better start writing this down.
Yep.
But yeah, I've got like
Yep.
a spreadsheet with the 16 subsheets with a map and all the stuff written down on it.
Nice.
And the game itself provides you better ways to record things, which is good.
Is this like a nowadays version of this whole modern problems require modern solutions thing? Because you used to have graph paper and you would have to make these out by hand, and now you've got electronic graph
that's
paper.
that's certainly true. What I didn't realize about Lana from the start was that it was originally an MSX game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, well, I had kind of heard of it already because there was I don't know if it was Flash necessarily, but there was an older PC release of it even before Lana 1.
Hmm.
That one was technically a remake of that one. And then that one before that, I thought was a remake of MSX. No, the modern Lana 1 was remakes of the MSX game Lana. I'm like, whoa, okay. So I didn't realize it had this pedigree, which now looking back on it, it kind of makes sense why the puzzles were kind of because back then puzzles were always kind of
Yeah.
But Lana 2 certainly still has some of those, although I think the difficulty of them has been toned down a small touch. There are still some that are just like,
Have you ever considered playing the MSX version?
come on. They actually include a couple of the areas from the MSX version as kind of like a secret area within, at least in Lana 1. I'm sure it's in Lana 2 somewhere as well. So I mean, it's got the classic MSX graphics and you know, all the classic MSX sounds and all that shit. It's like, oh well, that's cool. I fucking hate this game, but hey, that's cool. I don't hate the game. It's an interesting and fun game. It's just very frustrating sometimes, as I believe it was designed to be.
Yeah,
in some respects. But that's still going strong, going into the let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th week of it next week, which will be a good time for those watching and not necessarily me. Although I did finally break out the thinking juice last week to help with some of the other puzzles, so that has actually accelerated progress quite a bit.
Yeah, I heard this last session of yours was very productive.
It was. The ones this week in particular were fantastic.
Good.
In terms of making progress. There's still a lot of like dumb, like the way they word some of these things, it's like,
It's deliberately misleading.
that sounds important, but it's so weird and vague. It's like, that can't possibly be a thing, right?
It's a thing.
I better write it down just in case. You know it's going to come back. And it's like, fine, whatever. But yeah, so that's continuing to be a thing. Will probably continue to be a thing for a few weeks yet.
Nice.
As is tradition for Lana.
Mm-hmm.
In the Shmup Book Club front, we're done with R-Type 3, the Third Lightning. That was February, so we finished up the last session of that a couple weeks ago. It's a very rude game. Everybody agrees it's a rude game. And it is in the past, and we shall speak of it no more. We started up a new Shmup this month for the month of March, playing V5, a classic arcade top-down Shmup. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's simple. It's the original Japanese version of the American version, which is called Grindstormer. And it's actually simpler than the American version, if you can believe it. Because in the American version, you have bombs. In the Japanese version, you don't. It's just like, okay, slightly simpler, but whatever. That's kind of fun. We got one more week of that left for next week before we hit April. And then a little bit of the monthly Shmup Book Club Shmup, Crimson Clover World Ignition. Something we have discovered as a group is that it's apparently very finicky about the frame rate. In so much as it might bounce between like 59.5 frames per second and 60.8 frames per second or whatever. And the scoring system in it is sensitive enough to those jumps that if you don't keep a relatively stable 60 frames, it'll mark your score as like not valid or whatever for world leaderboards, or it'll have an asterisk next to it saying, "Oh, it's kind of weird. Don't trust this score," or whatever. So it's like, plus, and I haven't run into this problem myself, but some of the other folks in the Shmup Book Club have discovered that if you leave your computer on for long periods of time, like the timer in the game gets a little screwy, and it starts slowing down. Like it'll go from 60 frames, 59.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, and eventually it'll just drift so much that it becomes unplayable and it'll mark your score as invalid.
That's so weird.
I know, right? Which I'm really surprised I haven't run into it, but I'm playing it through Wine and not on a Windows PC, so that might be
if you're
part
getting
of it.
Valid scores through Wine,
yeah, it's like, no, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I mean,
yeah,
it's
right,
perfectly fine. But yeah, it's kind of I don't know, it's a weird thing. It's a very well designed game. It's designed by like a top shmupper, not necessarily a top developer, apparently. Because of these weird like kind of frame timing issues. Like,
are they shmupping coming?
Maybe, I don't know. It's bad. Also, it just seems weird. Like something so basic for a shmup, like you need a consistent solid. And it's just kind of just all over the place with shit sometimes. So it's like, fine, whatever. Besides that, I did finally cave and I bought a Switch. And I bought Smash.
Smush.
I was wondering how many lovely sales I would have to keep throwing your way until something happened.
Well, whatever. So I played entirely through the campaign, the World of Light and whatever. And... like, it's good, but some of the levels, some of like the enforced battle rules for it are, it's questionable. Like, I don't classify them as fun. It's just like, oh God, what kind of rule set is this? Let's just get this over with so I can move on, please. And it's disappointing in a way. It's a huge campaign. It took me like 30 hours or so to get through it. Wow. I'm like, okay, that's sizable. Wow. It's sizable, so there's no lack of content. It's just some of the content there is disappointing. A little disappointing. And the fact that the world map for it is, spoiler alert, it's not very clear where you can walk. Some of the paths are like, what is that? I don't know if I can go there. Oh, I can go over here. Oh, on this side. But oh no, you can't go over there on this side. Okay, like, okay, and they're beautiful maps. Like, they look hand drawn and all this kind of fancy stuff, and it's just like, can you highlight the paths a little bit so I know where I'm going here or whatever? It's not a big deal. So I finished the full single player campaign or whatever, unlocked all the characters, and now it's kind of past me. It's like, all right, let me just fight shit now, please. let's get to the core of this game.
Game please. Unlocked.
Yeah, right. Besides that, in a standard. A Link to the Past randomizers. Been practicing that now for upcoming marathon, which will have a very special variant of it as the well, we'll get to that in a bit. And of course, Assault Android Cactus. I've been practicing a very special mode of that for the upcoming marathon as well. I played a little bit of Assault Android Cactus Plus on the Switch. Not too much though. I bought an adapter to hook the GameCube controller up to the Switch, and it works great. Works great for Smush, just very natural. I used it for a Cactus a little bit, and it's okay, except for the fact that the C-stick has that stupid octagonal notches in it. So it's like click, 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 and you just see the character go click, 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 click. It's like, no, I need movement. I need fluid movements, please. So I'm looking into trying to find an adapter for an Xbox controller so I can actually play it properly.
I know they exist.
They do. I've found a couple. I just need to pull the trigger and buy one.
It's funny because it's
Literally.
a running gun.
Right.
Yeah, they're just counting on that the Cheeto dust to accumulate just
Right.
the right places.
Right.
Oh, I wonder how a Pro controller would go with that.
Probably not bad. It's
Yeah.
twin stick. Like even the 2 Joy-Cons hooked to the little thing is fine. It's just I find the Joy-Cons as a whole are just too tiny.
Yeah, they're extremely tiny.
I can't get comfortable playing with those, so I'm gonna have to go with a third-party adapter for something else.
That's fine.
And then some other minor practice for other runs coming up for the marathon, which we'll cover in our due time, I think. But for now, it's time for bonus level 2, some more tune skills.
All right, we head back in with Heart of the Sacred Grove by Rebecca E. Tripp and Gamer of the Winds from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
And then a remix from The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening entitled While the Windfish Sleeps by Begevko.
And then I got even more Zelda from A Link to the Past titled Naryu's Hymn by Blind.
All right. No, meep this time.
Exactly.
That one had a good enough trail off where I could get ready for it and be like,
Yeah.
meep. I don't think I took that out in post, by the way. I don't even remember which show that was. I think I left it in.
Almost every show.
Not really. No,
No?
it's like half
He's
of them.
generally
at
good
best.
about
well,
this.
okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like some of them don't give you any time. Like it's just like da 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 da. Meep meep. Like shit, I missed my 10th of a second window to stop this song before it fucking goes to the last one. Anyways, this month I think we have some pretty epic designs, don't we?
Yeah, we sure do. I may as well lead off.
Yeah.
I had some help with this. Well, I mean, you were one of them.
I
but-
guess I technically was. Yeah, that's
So, unfortunately, Enchantress of Numbers is not somebody who does this radio show, but
true.
she definitely helped out with this. It's this great new game called the Marathon we're putting on in 2 weeks.
Hey, how about
Heck
that?
yeah.
So we have a schedule for you. If you are curious about it, head over to schedule.zerohour-productions.net. You'll be forwarded to the Extra Life 2019 Aurora schedule, which begins on Friday, April 5th at 6 p.m. Central Time with a very special,
Very special.
and I'm definitely saying this is special.
It is.
It is
Certainly
a
will be.
Metroid 3 / Zelda 3 combo randomizer, 2-player, 1-controller thing. Now, it's not what you might think, where, say, Mr. Bond is controlling the D-pad and EI the rest of the
Oh, my
buttons.
goodness,
No. That would be
No.
too amazing. We might make them do that next time.
No.
But,
W-O.
Negative.
Amazing.
but this time, EI is going ahead and doing all of the Metroid content, whereas Mr. Bond is doing the Zelda content.
Yep, we'll be swapping controllers. So technically, it is still 2-person, 1 controller.
Yeah,
we
that's
just
true.
will not be operating it simultaneously. It'll
Yeah.
be alternating.
Indeed. So there is a lot more content in there, but I invite you to take a quick look and tell me what's missing. Well, here's a hint. It's Tetris. This is the first marathon we've produced that doesn't actually have a Tetris game in it because we had so much other content. Although, we do have the return of Super Nintendo this time, where we did not have it during our last Extra Life marathon. So,
Which you may recall was a short 4 months ago,
Indeed.
back in November. But we moved now, I think, all of our future Extra Life marathons to April of the
Yes.
year.
So the way that we plan to do things, at least moving forward until we decide, hey, this is a stupid idea, is the very first weekend in April is going to be Extra Life, and the very first weekend in October is going to be Super Stigma Slam. So I suppose, as a brief spoiler, not that we haven't mentioned it several times in the past, Super Stigma Slam 2019, at least for now, is going to be over the first weekend in October from Friday to Sunday, which I want to say starts on the 4th this year. I think it's the 4th through the 6th.
Yes.
Yes, good.
Right you are.
Excellent. So, happy birthday to you.
Yay!
Tenfold.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
We got you a marathon as an anniversary
Yeah.
gift. I hope
Well,
you're okay
no,
with
the
it.
second day of a marathon is an anniversary.
Oh,
gift.
well, you
Yeah.
know, it's got to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'll break out that frozen piece of cake that I still have from last year.
Well, there you
'Cause
go.
that's
Do
a
you-
thing people do.
It is a
have
thing
that?
that people do.
Yeah, it's the thing you keep throwing around in the freezer. It's that little Tupperware container.
Oh, I'm so sorry, cake.
I'm sure it's fine. It's been frozen solid for a long time.
We hope. I'll just
Oh,
ask for
no.
another one.
Yeah.
Hey, Jenny, can I have another carrot cake? Why? I'm
Okay.
hungry. Okay.
Nice. Good reason.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
It's the best reason, in
Hey, carrot cake is probably my favorite, but that's beyond what we're talking about.
fact.
here.
Correct.
So, in any case, we have a lot of interesting things going on. We have some blind races because people weren't there to say no.
and also one of
wow.
them started off as a blind race too. Let's be clear about that.
Okay.
Everybody involved is going in blind for one of the races at the start of Saturday there.
Yeah.
I'm really sad that I can't make a Zelda 3 pun with that.
Sorry,
It's fine.
You tried.
not this
Well,
time.
I mean, you'll be smacking blind 9 times at some point, I guess.
depends.
Well,
if it's not a crystal dungeon, might not have to do it.
well, sure. Oh, well, let's see here. Are you also doing enemy randomization and boss randomization?
I don't know because I don't know how the combo gets generated.
Ah, okay. So I was
I-
going to say, you could
we
have like
could
5
do that.
blinds.
Could do that. I should, since EI will be in charge of generating this combo rando ROM, I will tell him to turn on enemy rando and possibly pot shuffle as well, since that's what I'm most used to right now.
So I will
Just my own
say,
chagrin.
one of the last streams of yours that I was able to catch, and this is at least 2 weeks ago, you had boss
God.
randomization turned on, and you did not have the ice rod.
Correct. Yeah, that was.
And you got
2
to the
weeks
very,
ago.
very end of Ganon's tower, and you're like, God damn it, those are Trinex legs.
Yep, it was definitely one of the refights that required the ice rod because it was Trinex.
Absolutely, and I was just like, yes.
That was one of the worst ones.
Did you happen to find that in Turtle Rock? Was that?
No, ice rod was.
It was someplace that wasn't pedestal, and we got real sad.
It wasn't pedestal. You're right. It was. It was somewhere very shortly after I left to go look for it, which made me happy.
It wasn't
I didn't
like
want to
Ether
spend
Tab
another.
or something like that.
It wasn't Ether Tablet.
No,
It
okay.
wasn't. It wasn't Hookshot Cave. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna go back and look because I don't remember now where it
All
was.
I remember was everybody was just like, "Yeah, suffer," and then you found it. We're like, "God damn it!"
It might have been Swamp.
Oh, was it? Okay,
It might have been like the first chest in Swamp or something.
got it.
And like, son of a bitch, I don't want to go in the swamp. Click. Oh, I'm out of here.
Deuces.
We were all so disappointed.
It was
but
still a bad seed. That was like 244 or something. I was just like,
yeah,
oh.
you're like, I'm not doing a Triforce hunt.
Nope. We're not doing
Good
a second
night,
one
everybody.
tonight. I am tired.
Yeah.
Pours more whiskey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good night.
Indeed.
Well, anyways, besides our anchor combo rando run there on Friday night, myself and EI will also be doing actually a one loop score challenge, best 2 out of 3, to round out Friday night, and then we all go to sleep for 11 hours and come back roaring to go at noon on Saturday.
That's how it'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
There's
exactly how
that,
it'll go.
Co-op blind race with Nim and Nom.
Yep, which I have no idea what that game is.
And it
Nice.
wouldn't be a marathon without some kind of Zelda too.
And it wouldn't be blind if you knew what it was.
Correct.
that's true.
That's
So
also true.
But Eon submitted RBO, Reverse Boss Order, is a category for SGDQ Super Stigma Slam. That might be a thing too. Who knows? But we're hoping that her submission is accepted for SGDQ. But she's been practicing RBO, and I want to say that she still is the world record holder for that. So
Right on.
I believe that's the case, yeah.
and then we have F-Zero, all leagues beginner and exhibition race between 4 people, not including myself. Which is real good because I don't think I've ever actually played F-Zero for more than 5 minutes.
I mean, I can like just casually blow through the races on beginner, but like it starts to get really bad once the difficulty starts ramping up.
Yeah, above that is a little bit tests the patience a bit,
Yeah.
shall we say.
For sure.
I did do a brief derust of it last weekend
Yeah.
as I was playing through some stuff, and I managed to make it through with the Fire Stingray on all 3 cups. So I'm like, okay. That's enough practice for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was pretty much how I just sat down and blew through all the courses, and then that's pretty much it. So, but just straight shot through. Like it's like riding a bike. Like once you know the courses, you never forget them.
Mm-hmm.
I think
speaking of
Deathwind,
autonomous racing.
I'm gonna say Deathwind 2 is probably the one that's gonna
Oh,
give me the
boy.
most problems. Like it's worse than Firefield, honestly.
The Firefield I don't think is that bad.
It's really not. Like you just
Yeah,
have to know
that's
when
it.
and how to take the corners and actually slow down. You can't just
Mhm.
like hold acceleration through the whole race. But like Deathwind 2, I
Deathwind 2 is
don't
the
have a
worst.
strategy for that because you hit the turbo and suddenly it's pinball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Donk,
so-
donk, donk.
Yeah, right.
Fuck.
Ah, crap.
Yeah, that's a quick way to get your shields down.
Oh my god. I think when I last played that, like I barely made it across the line. I was damaged. So.
Well, moving on beyond F-Zero, we've got the Dots Are Cool 4-player battle mode pack for Super Mario Brothers All-Stars.
Which we played a little bit at our end of 2018 kind of party stream. It was fun. I thought it was fun.
Not end of life.
Not end of life. Correct.
It's always at the tip of my tongue,
End
and
of
I have to
year.
correct myself.
End of year.
Yep.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, it wouldn't be an arcade block, without having blocks. Wow.
Yeah.
Without moving into another arcade game, which is yet another ROM hack. It's Super Metroid Arcade. one of my very favorite things to watch EI play, also known as Crab Doge.
Crab Doge has
So-
adopted that name.
Indeed. And of course, we return to something that we haven't played for 2 years, actually, I want to say.
Let's see, when was the last time? I think it was Extra Life 2017.
Yeah, I was going to say, K-Tane here. Keep talking, nobody explodes.
Yeah, that it has been that long.
Yeah, I remember hiding behind a couch because I wasn't
Hey,
allowed to see.
We had to make some very quick decisions on how to actually manage it.
Yeah, it works.
It sure did.
Mhm.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Enchantress of Numbers returns with Blossom Tales, the Sleeping King, all bosses. That is certainly an interesting thing to watch. It is very Zelda 2 or Zelda 3 like rather. It's worth taking a look at the speedrun. It's pretty cool. And then New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. There are no more words after that
Dang,
title.
I was waiting for him. I was like, nah.
Whoever put that into the schedule document sure had a good time with that.
Yeah.
It may have been me, I don't remember. But that's going to be a 4-player co-op, pretty much, well, we'll call it blind, but it's really the game from the Wii U, if not earlier.
I think from the Wii is the origination of that game. It's like New Super Mario Bros. And then New Super Mario Bros. Wii or Wii U? New Super Mario Bros. U.
I thought the new one started with the DS. Didn't it?
Well, New Super Mario Brothers was on the DS,
Yeah,
and
it
then
was,
the 3DS, and then another release on 3DS.
Yeah.
And
What
then...
did they call the Wii one though?
I think they just called it New Super Mario Brothers Wii.
Did they? Oh, okay. Well, then it's like 4 or 5 generations old at this point.
Yeah.
Whatever. Hopefully the levels aren't the exact same. Whatever.
Eh.
I remember Cat Mario was the thing in Wii U, so...
I think that was 3D Land. Was the cat one? No?
Ba,
A
ba.
lot of them are the
Yeah.
same. We'll just call them all the same.
All the soundtracks are the same.
Yep.
pretty much, yeah.
But-
Every subject. Ba.
Bah.
Ba, ba, ba. Yeah.
Every single song.
Fucking dancing Koopa Troopas.
That's cute. Come on.
It was the first time. And now we're on like Gen 6. So
That's so much more realistic dancing.
yeah.
So many more polygons they can use.
So many toidles.
Many turtles. Many turtles.
All right. Well, to wrap up Saturday night, we have a very special mini retro PC block with only 2 games this time. However, Doom,
Mm-hmm.
the original, co-op, all episodes with 2 separate PCs over IPX.
Yep.
It's gonna be tight.
Oh, heck yeah.
And then-
This is going to be
Interesting.
so good. And it's basically going to be Spectre doing all the map manip. But I think that we're going to be able to come up with some strats that'll help us save some time. Like, because you share keys in that game.
Yep.
So one person can grab a key while the other one's waiting at the door ready to go through and just so on. So we'll have to figure out how we want to negotiate that because they're... I took a look online and it doesn't look like there's any like co-op strats for Doom just published anywhere. So we're gonna have to
Have
wing it.
fun.
Yeah.
It's another game where I know the very first episode very, very
Yep.
well.
Same.
Good old shareware.
He's
Yep.
gonna be driving the whole second episode, I'm sure.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Well, then you're going to go into a solo venture to wrap up the night there. It's going to be Biomenace, all episodes, not just the first one. And, yeah.
Biomenace is great. We might. I hope I don't run into the stupid sound bug that I mentioned earlier because that's totally random. So I might have to.
Oh, to relaunch the game?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you
I
have to
gotcha.
sit through the
Oh,
Apogee
okay.
intro where it's all like da 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 da. Yeah. So
Huh.
Apogee Games.
yeah.
Ba-da-da-ding.
Yeah.
Classic, man.
Yeah.
Bring back some memories.
I mean, either that or it's let the sounds play through the PC speaker, but then you don't get them on stream. So
I mean, if we managed to run into it, I think we let it play out for one time just to hear it,
I mean,
I mean,
nostalgia.
you'll
Yeah,
not,
right.
you won't be picking up the PC speaker. At
Oh,
all.
yeah, I guess
it's not through the
that's-
sound card.
Yeah.
Just hold the
you're
mic
right.
up,
It's a-
dude. It's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Really authentic.
Yeah.
Sounds like a modem.
Well, yeah, let's get a modem in there right away while we're going for ultimate nostalgia
I
value.
tried so hard to avoid a modem and went with gigabit Ethernet. We are not doing that.
We didn't do null modem with the serial, which wouldn't make a frickin' dial tone anyway.
We could put one in there.
We could.
Well, why not?
We could have done null modem, but Ethernet is way more fun.
Fun fact: I transcribed
Oh no!
via music notes.
Why?
The tones that were played when dialing into the local ISP when I was a kid.
Dude, really?
Man.
Yeah. Da, 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 da. Do,
Brr.
be-dum, be-dum, be. Just like that.
I love Dead Mouse.
Oh,
Boy. I
Well,
love Dead Fox. What?
well, after biomedicine, we all get a short break for 12 or so hours
Yeah.
until noon on Sunday, and then we start off with some Zero Ranger, a story percent run through 2P co-op between myself and EI.
I thought you were going to say myself and Mr. Bond.
What kind of sense would that make?
Because it was the second name listed there.
I'm not doing 2-player 1 controller with myself. Or one player 2 controller. Other way around. Other way around.
But don't forget
You'd be like, well, that would be a pretty easy one mine, wouldn't it?
Sure it would. Hey, what are we thinking of doing? Okay, I don't know what we're doing here. Just fucking wing it.
I was going to say, don't bomb that description because you're going into nuclear throne.
Yeah, nuclear throne, loop percent, whatever it takes for us to get to 1 loop, which honestly I don't expect we'll have a problem with.
No.
It's
You'll manage to do that on
fairly
my
simple.
DDR machine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's true. With 4 people, no less.
Yeah.
All is the same character.
Good.
That was a good time.
Were you the chicken?
We were all the chicken.
Nice. Good. I like that.
have video.
Chicken percent.
I don't have the video of the whole thing, but I did take some video of them
Nice.
doing
I think
it.
I still have a photo of the screen somewhere on my phone.
That's
It
amazing.
was silly. Then after Nuclear Throne, we go into a very special speedrun category of Assault Android Cactus that exists as of 1 week ago.
Oh.
An all androids boss rush that I will be doing my best to get sub 1 hour in.
So
Oh,
is
boy.
that just a new game mode, or is it just something you decided to call a category?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's got to run to it. It's a category
Yeah,
now.
all
I was
right.
going to say, I mean, if you're a moderator, you can make whatever the fuck you
You
want.
can do that in an hour?
About, yeah.
Oh.
Like each individual boss rush for each android is about like kind of okay good is 6.5 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's
like really good is 5.5
Okay.
minutes.
yeah. So you're
um,
running way up on that one then. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then it's a different kind of feel to it when you're doing them one after another for 9 times.
Yeah.
You can hit a flow and you can also get bodied pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Which is about par for the course.
Yeah,
for
that's
Solid
pretty
Cactus.
appropriate.
But then we have the Eon block again. Except this time Eon is by herself. Chime in Exhibition, she played it once upon a time and hasn't played it much since, I think.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
But then we go into Bit Trip Beat, at least beating the first level.
That's gonna be cool.
And then, of course, something that we started the last Extra Life,
Oh,
which was, again,
yes.
only 4 months ago.
Mhm.
Pet the Pup at the Party, yet another exhibition. And, of course, a returning... We're
And
gonna
now 3-year tradition.
Yeah.
Indeed, Goat Simulator with cooldown percent. So
In 4K.
Well-
Check sound.
Well, going on the stream at 720. No K, just P.
You get this at no K.
wow, that sounds like a scene whereas group or something like that.
No K.
No K.
Yeah,
No K. Oy.
but yeah, that rounds out the entirety of the Extra Life 2019 schedule for 0 Hour Productions.
That's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have the party cart on display again.
2 weeks from today.
Oh, it's
Oh.
just as well you have Biomenace last because, oh my god, I have no idea how I'm going to do on those last 2 episodes.
2 weeks minus 3 hours.
Minus 3 hours. Minus 3
Ooh.
hours and 11 minutes. if we
and
want
4
to get
seconds.
More resolute about it. Well, now 8 seconds. I was talking
Damn it.
through it.
Oh,
Yeah, that'll be a good time. This is all to benefit the Children's Miracle Hospital Network Hospital, Children's Hospital of Wisconsin in Wauwatosa. That's what Extra Life does. They organize and promote video game streaming to help local children's hospitals for whoever's doing the event. So it's kind of what sets them apart a lot from a lot of other kind of national charities and stuff like that is it usually just goes into one big pot for the charity to distribute. No, they try to keep all the funds local to whoever's performing the event for them. So it's a neat little tidbit about who we're doing this for.
Indeed.
Okay, I think we're kind of at the end of tonight's episode. Any other final closing thoughts we need to put out there? Otherwise, we sail on into this good night.
Not really. I'm super hyped for this event.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good.
So yeah, the next time you'll see us all, except I suppose MrBond will be streaming. Is going to be at the marathon. So make sure you tune in and hit up donate.zerohour-productions.net to see the donation page for the charity. You can obviously review the schedule as we just did at schedule.zerohour-productions.net. Obviously, we're going to be hosting it here at watch.zerohour-productions.net. We will not have an audio-only version of that one. So it's only going to be going out to Twitch. We will have a highlight reel on Twitch, and of course, we'll be posting on YouTube once everything is done. But yeah, that'll be the next time you see all of us.
Yeah, and in case you lose the links, I mean, the three of us, we're gonna hit a number of different social media accounts with it too. So
yeah, it will be put out there. So don't worry if you missed the particular spelling of anything. So we will put links out everywhere.
Absolutely,
yes, we do,
as one always does. All right. With that, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm MrBond.
I'm Tormod.
And I'm Saxxon.
We'll leave you with our typical closing track, a remix from Mario Kart Wii entitled Wind in Your Hair by Overclocked University. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.
Adios.